Good morning, it is 7:40 and a chilly 15 degrees in Havrabaten. Today is the midterm, I'm sorry. So I wanted to talk a little bit about technology. I'm not wearing glasses because it's overcast. So it is without saying that technology, as I'm using the phone and walking, is prevalent in current culture. We cannot get away from it. It is everywhere. We do it for everything. Even books are now going digital, and people think the book will become extinct. So, what is going on with the current generation? Now, I've not been in America for a while, so I cannot really talk about American culture. But here in Saudi and in Thailand, children have devices in front of them at a very young age. This is really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how interactions have changed because of technology and lack of face-to-face interaction. So, Dia and I would frequent this Italian restaurant in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we would always see the owners and their family all sitting at the table, playing or on a device. iPhone, tablet, and even their children on the floor on a little mat would have a phone or a tablet in their hands. And no one would be speaking to each other. They all would be glued to their screens. Now, is this really a new thing? I don't think so. I think that in my generation, 20 years ago, that cable television might have been seen the same way. The children plunked themselves down in front of the television and had 155 channels, and they could just watch TV all day. But that wasn't true for everyone. Cable was expensive. And also, your parents kind of had to sign off on letting you watch TV and buying the cable. But that's much different than cell phones. Cell phones have been sold to parents as a safe device to keep track of their children. Well, if your child has a phone, you can call them, and you'll know where they are, and you can track them. But doesn't that mean that other people can do the same? Also, before the advent of the cell phone, if I wanted to call my friend and neighbor Aaron, when I called his house, I might have to speak with his parents or his sister or his brother. And that created a relationship, a bond with his family and I, which still exists to this day. But now, if I was 12 years old, I would never call his house phone. What an ancient idea. I would call his phone. And I would have never developed a relationship with his parents. Now, am I saying that everyone needs to have a house phone? No, not promoting that. If it's not needed, it's not needed. But there is a time that we need to put the devices down. Now, I understand. I am on a device or playing a game or looking at something on the internet, researching all the time. And the use of analog or books is diminishing. But there is some kind of rudeness that exists when you're sitting at a table with someone or having a chat with someone, and the other person pulls out their device and starts to play on it, read it, whatever. In our social context, there has to be a line where when I'm with you, I'm going to try my damnedest to be just with you. Now, I understand, you get a message or a beep that's from work or from your spouse or from your children that you need to look at and be aware of. And that has its time and its place. And I think that everyone can be understanding about those emergencies, those issues. But just yesterday, I was chatting with a teacher colleague, Fawad, and as he was talking to me, I was playing Race for the Galaxy, a card game. Now, why was I doing that? Why was I ignoring somewhat Fawad? I was listening, I was commenting on the conversation at hand, but I was still doing something else. Part of my brain was not engaged with the person. Now, why is that? This is what I really want to get at, and the interaction between parents and children, is that we are so overstimulated by technology that a single person cannot compare to the complexity, the interaction, the immediate response of a device. They cannot hold a candle to that. No one can. Now, yes, maybe for outside, when we're completely disconnected, we're having an enriched conversation, yes, the person will beat the device for a time. The internet is just too multifaceted to think that people can be more interesting than the device. So we have to say enough is enough at some point in time. You know, when I am with Dia, I really do not care what's going on with my device. I just want to be with her. But at the same time, if an email comes in from work, I most likely need to be aware of it. I just think that we need to be honest with ourselves about our addiction to our phones. That I am addicted to the constant updates. I am addicted to the beautiful images. I am addicted to the mobile games. I am addicted to being connected and yet disconnected, because it gives me an excuse not to be connected with the people that are very close to me. Going back to the children thing, it is a very easy thing to do to give a kid a device and to shut them up. It's kind of like the little beanies that put in children's mouths so they would suck on as an oral fixation instead of cry or scream. And in today's world, it's very hard to spend hours upon hours with your children. But again, they are your children. And again, that time of that constant attention will only last so long. And as people are having kids, they need to be aware that it's going to take up a lot of their time. They need to be aware that their habits are going to have to change. And a lot of the third world, which I live in, just cannot do that. They cannot give their children the time. 20 years ago, the children would come to work with the parents. And now, they can just give them a device, leave them in a room, and they believe that the child will be properly entertained, not wander off, not go anywhere, because the device will be like an anchor, keep them there as long as it has battery power. We don't know the effects that this will have on children yet, because they haven't grown up. But I believe, and comment below, that this will not be good. That this will lead to children being disconnected from their parents and more connected with their devices. They're going to have more intimate connections with their devices. Their friendships will be mostly online, and when they actually get face-to-face with these people, like in the game Ready Player One, they won't know how to interact with them. They won't know how to talk with their friends. And I think this is a very, very bad thing. All right, time for work.